This is the most one of the important ecological disturbances that threaten native biodiversity. Question: how does invasion affect biodiversity? Here's the answer. Population and species. It is caused by extinction of native species. However, according to Simborlov in 1981, reduced population sizes of local extinctions appear more common, but changes in population size of native species after invasion by non-native can vary greatly in magnitude and even direction. We have species. It is all individuals that are capable of interbreeding. So we have utilitarian, public service, ecological, moral, theological, aesthetic, spiritual, and creative. Those are the examples of 9 primary reasons is made up of populations. What are the examples of habitat diversity? Here's the example of the habitat diversity. Grassland, tundras, deserts, rainforests, terrestrial, and marine ecosystem. These are just a few examples of diverse ecosystems that helps to maintain a healthy environment. So why is habitat diversity is important? It is prediction that distinct habitats within ecosystems might support each other through structural complementarity and the interchange of material and energy between habitats, just as species variety generally fosters ecosystems functioning through beneficial interspecies interaction. Biological evolution. This refers to change in inherited characteristic of population from generation to generation. This result in new species populations can no longer reproduce with members of the original species, but can reproduce with each other. The word evolution in the term of biological evolution has a special meaning. In outside biology, evolution is used broadly to mean the history and development of some migration and geographic isolation. Sometimes, two populations of the same species became geographically isolated from each other for a long time. During that time, the two populations may change so much that they can no longer reproduce together, even when they are brought back. Migration has been an important evolutionary process over geological time, a period long time enough for geologic changes. Darwin's visit to Galapagos Islands gave him his most powerful insight into biological evolution. He found many species of finches that were related to a single species found elsewhere. Each species was adapted to a different. Darwin suggested that finches isolated from other species on the continents eventually separated into numbers of groups, each suited to a more specialized role. This is called a adaptive regression. Genetic drift refers to changes in the frequency of a gene population due not to mutations, selected migration, but simply to change. On the other way, this happens through the founder effect. Natural selection. When there is a variation within a species, some individuals may be better suited to the environment than others. Organisms whose biological characteristics make them better able to survive and reproduce to their environment leave more offspring than others. Their descendants from a larger populations of the next generation and are more fit for the environment. This process of increasing the proportion of offspring is called natural selection, which is inherited characteristic leave more offspring, and as the environmental changes over time, the characteristics fit it will also change. In summary, natural selections involve four primary factors. Threats to the biodiversity. First, extinction. It is natural process the rate at which species are disappearing to increase dramatically over last 150 years. Species die out and are replaced by others, often their own descendants, as part of revolutionary change. Example for habitat destruction. This is the most important extinction threat for the most species, especially terrestrial ones. That is absolutely a habitat loss. Habitat destruction. It is the most, especially terrestrial ones. Read for the examples of populations. We have known that the toxic pollutants can be disastrous effects on local populations of the organisms of a long time, and the overharvesting, it is the most responsible for the depletion of the extinctions of many species. First example is fish stocks. It has been seriously depleted overharvesting in many pathways in the world. Commercial products and live specimens. In addition to harvesting wild species for foods, we also obtain variety of valuable commercial products from nature.